Hello, I'm Heather North from heatherscreativeblessings.com. It is the 17th of the month, and that means it is time for our Calling All Sistahs blog pop to remind you to do your monthly breast self-exams and schedule those yearly mammograms. We know it's busy this time of year, so it's really important that you make time. Just take the few minutes it takes to check. Sister, you are that important to me. So I decided, since it was all about making time in this busy time of year, that I would make a very simple one-layer card. I just have a standard card base here. It's 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2, and I just placed it into my MISTI. Now, by using my MISTI, I can stamp several of these cards at once. I inked up these leaves with cotton candy ink from My Favorite Things. This stamp set is from Casual Friday Stamps. It's called Calm and Gentle. And the tree trunks I'm just going to ink up in soft suede from Stampin' Up. I think if I had used crumb cake, it probably would have been a little bit better. That soft suede is really dark and the pink just kind of fades into the background. So I decided I was going to stamp again, and this is where the MISTI is great. I can line up exactly where I want it to go. And I'm going to do a little bit darker ink color here. This is the pink to red ombre from Hero Arts. And the great thing about this is it's 3 colors mixed into one. So I just inked that stamp up, and I stamped it a couple of times. And now I'm going to stamp my sentiment. The sentiment reads, "Cancer is not contagious, but you can catch it early. Check yourself." So the sentiments come from Calling All Sistahs. It's actually a combination of 2 stamps in that set. What you see me doing here is just positioning my stamps to make sure they're where I want them to be. And I'm going to do some selective stamping. The stamp itself says "you better check yourself," but I just wanted the check yourself. So I took a piece of Post-it tape and I put it over the part I didn't want inked. I inked up my stamp and then removed the Post-it tape. Press it down, and then because I'm using the MISTI, if I need to stamp it again, I can. By the way, I'm using Midnight ink from Catherine Fuller Designs. Now I'm going to take the other part of the sentiment and line it up where I want it to go and do selective stamping on this one as well. But this time I'm going to use the Post-it note to mask off the top part, and then I'm going to ink up early in the cotton candy ink that I used earlier on the tree. I'm just going to stamp it a couple of times to make sure I have good coverage. Then I'll clean it off and I'll mask off the early and then ink up the rest of the sentiment in that same Midnight ink I used before. I wanted to be very, very sure none of the black got on the early, so I just cleaned it off. And then I decided, you know what, better safe than sorry. I'm going to put a piece of Post-it over the bottom part of the sentiment there. And it worked. Nothing transferred, but I just didn't want any little black spots to ruin my card at this point because it's almost completely done. To finish this off, I'm going to ground my image like I did for the deer tree earlier this week, if you saw that video. I just took Copic T2 this time, and I drew a little bit of a hill, or you can think of it as a shadow of those trees kind of coming down at an angle. Very loose. And that's my clean and simple card for the Calling All Sistahs blog hop this month. Now, if you have a little time, head on over to my blog and leave comments along the hop, because there are prizes being given away to 3 people who comment along the blog hop. And if not, just make sure that you make some time to check yourself this month. Sister, you are important to me. Have a very Merry Christmas and happy holiday season. Bye!